So as we sit at the end of October, let's see what the market looked like in September and how it could affect us moving forward in Delaware's housing market. In September, we saw 1,595 homes get listed publicly for sale. That means they were available for showing or offer. And that brought the end of month inventory for September all the way up to 3,691. That's the biggest number we've seen since early 2020. And if you'd like to follow along with this document we have up on the screen, hit this QR code and you can have this little companion in your phone with you as we go along. If we look at September of last year, 1,545 homes got listed that month. And September of 2022, a little bit more fire under that market, 1,604 homes were listed. So September's numbers this year were pretty on par. We'll get back to the end of month inventory, but if we scoot just to the right of that, we see MSI. This is a huge number, and we just did a video on the Loft report for this month that focused the month supply of inventory for each county, and I'm not gonna assume you know what this means. What month supply inventory means is if everybody stopped selling their homes, no more homes hit the market, only what we actively had for sale. And all of the buyers, all of the demand that was out there, we didn't see any more or any less. How many months would it take for all of the homes to get sold? And outside of a couple sporadic winter months, that is the highest the month supply inventory has been for the state of Delaware since pre-2020. And more particularly, the highest it's ever been after a summer market since that time frame. Now, I want to stick around on a specific column for a couple moments, so follow me here as we look at units sold. So in September of this year, there were 1,141 units sold, and last year there were 1,143 units sold. That's funny. That's a very similar number. But that means the same amount of people are going to the closing table and buying homes as this time last year, even though we have lower interest rates and more inventory. Based off those two factors right there, I'd say that buyer demand is weaning as inventory is accumulating, as we've been talking about for the past few months, really since early midsummer, that inventory is beginning to accumulate and we are starting to see this shift out of this inferno white hot sellers market. Homes in Delaware are selling in September for $395,000. That's up nearly 20 grand since last year. And since last year, that number was 29 days. And the year before that, 2022, that number was 27. If you're curious how low that number got, it actually got down below into the teens in 2021, meaning the average home in Delaware was hitting the market and selling within weeks. Now I'm going to take us to the box that is at the bottom, at least second to the bottom, where we see current month October 2024. Now the number right next to that is huge. 3,799 homes sit on the market right now at the end of October. Do you know what that means? I'm gonna tell you what it means in a second. The next column over is MSI. We can see that that number is trending higher than the number 3 now. So we'll expect an even higher MSI when we get these numbers back in November. You can see how steeply that number has increased just since last month of September at 3,691. And this time last year, we had 780 less homes on the market. That means there's 700 more opportunities, 780 more homes that buyers could inevitably go out and see and put an offer on. And like we said earlier, we're seeing a similar amount of buyer activity, even with more options. What do you think is causing that? I'm curious. Comment below what you may think is causing the lowered buyer demand, even though seemingly more options are being given, and with lower interest rates, more affordability is being made available. So let's go back to current inventory. This number is huge, and here is why. We are seeing more demand creep up while inventory is moving faster up. We're not seeing a dead market for buyers. I want to be very clear on this. We still have buyer demand, especially in Delaware, with people relocating into. Maybe yourself are thinking about doing just that. The demand for that is still very present. But inward Delaware homeowners actively selling, moving, and buying a new home, upgrading, relocating within the state, that demand is very low. And so with inventory increasing, that shows that with demand staying around where it's been at, that we're beginning to see a shift. To break it down simpler, this is supply and demand at its core. Supply being the amount of homes on the market, and demand being the buyers that want to buy them. Now, when demand is low and inventory is low, prices typically stabilize. They stay right around where they're at. And what we saw just 2 years ago was when we had low inventory and high demand. The high demand from those home buyers that had low interest rates and needed a home, all while people didn't want people walking through their home because of that virus, led to home prices skyrocketing way more people bidding on way less opportunities. Now, if that flipped and we had low demand with high inventory, a large amount of options for a few amount of people to go see, well, we would see price points go down. And if the trend continues of inventory going up, and I will say up until the end of October, historically, we see that happen really up until mid-November when the holidays start, that inventory accumulates historically. So what does that mean for November, December, January, moving forward? Will home prices go down? Will monthly payments be more affordable? What's going on for Delaware? Well, my synopsis is this, and I outline it with way more numbers in our Loft report video. We just shot this. Check this one out if you want the more granular, in-depth Delaware data. Here's my 3-point summary. If mortgage rates stay where they're at, we're in this mid to low 6 range, buyer demand will not increase significantly. The magic number there, most economists are saying, is about 5.3 to 5.4% to get buyer demand unlocked to the point where people are going to start selling and moving more. On the other side, if new construction companies start building at the rate that's needed to fill the gap of 4 million needed units throughout the country in housing, if they even begin to start that uphill climb, all while homes are sitting, that means inventory or supply would increase while demand stays low. Third, if all of that happens and inventory continues to go up, sellers will begin to price their homes on market a bit lower. Price reductions will happen for those that are sitting, and ultimately the terms that they'd be willing to accept will be better off for the buyer because there's gonna be frustration. There's going to be pressure. Honey, the home's not selling. Honey, we thought this was going to be gone in a week. Hey, what are we going to do? It's on for 2-3 months. These are the homes where you see homeowners more lenient. And that's where we get closer, not into, but closer to a buyer's market in Delaware. To define a buyer's market, it's as simple as it sounds. A buyer has the opportunity to view the market. They don't have to rush. They don't have to go in over asking. They don't have to drop their appraisal. They can go out on a weekend and see 10 homes. And likely 8 of those 10 homes will still be there next week. That's a normal, neutral market that we have not even been close to since 2018 and got so far away from, up from 2022 to today. So to be very clear, I don't think we're moving back into a buyer's market tomorrow. But if you're on the fence for next year, 2 years out for Delaware, there may be some good news in this for you, because we could see prices stabilize, if not slowly drop, if these variables continue. And for more in-depth Delaware data, subscribe by hitting this profile channel. Hit our latest video. I just told you, this Loft report, in-depth data you will love. Or this one, really popular one. Looking forward to having you on our next video. We post on Wednesdays and Fridays for those looking to relocate into the great state of Delaware. I'm an Army vet and an 8-year real estate agent who takes great pride in what we do, and I hope to be able to meet you soon. Have a dandy Delaware day, and I'll